He'd flown missions most of us can't even imagine. 23 years of service, 3 tours overseas. The kind of man who saluted the flag every morning before his coffee got cold. Larry Murphree was a man who understood the cost of freedom. An Air Force veteran, he spent his life serving a country that promised him one thing in return: a quiet place to call home. You see, what happened to Larry is happening in neighborhoods just like yours right now. And if you're a homeowner, you need to hear this story before it's too late. Larry lived in the Sweetwater community. It was the kind of place where the grass is exactly 2.5 inches tall and the mailboxes are all the same shade of beige. Larry followed the rules, but he had one non-negotiable: a small American flag in a flower pot on his porch. Now, you might be thinking, what's wrong with that? After all, federal law, the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005, protects homeowners' rights to fly our nation's colors. Larry knew this. The HOA knew this too, but they didn't care. The HOA board didn't see a symbol of service. They saw an unauthorized object. They issued a $50 fine, then $100. Then, they did the unthinkable. Instead of taking Larry's checks for his monthly HOA dues, the board allegedly diverted his payments to cover the fines first. This was a legal trap. By making it look like Larry wasn't paying his dues, they moved to foreclose on his house. They were going to take a veteran's home over a flower pot. Let me say that again, because it's important. A man who served his country for over 2 decades was about to lose everything, not because he couldn't pay, but because petty bureaucrats decided to play accounting games with his money. This is the kind of thing that makes your blood boil, and it should. Larry's wife, Marge, told reporters she couldn't sleep for weeks. Imagine working your whole life, paying your mortgage for 30 years, and then some board member with a clipboard threatens to take it all away because they don't like where you put your flag. Most people would have folded, but Larry Murphree had veteran grit. He hired a legal team and dug into the HOA's books. What they found wasn't just strict rule enforcement. It was a pattern of predatory litigation. Here's where it gets interesting. Larry's attorney discovered that over the past 3 years, the HOA had filed foreclosure proceedings against 17 other homeowners, 17 families, all over minor violations: a rose bush too close to the sidewalk, a mailbox the wrong shade of black, Christmas lights left up 2 days past. And every single one of those families had paid thousands in legal fees just to keep their homes. The HOA board had turned neighborhood disputes into a cash machine. While the board was busy hunting down Larry's flag, they were ignoring a massive hole in the community's budget. Thousands of dollars in maintenance fees were disappearing into consulting firms owned by, you guessed it, the board members' own relatives. The board president's son-in-law? He ran a landscape consulting company that billed $8,000 a month to tell the community which shrubs to plant. The treasurer's nephew owned the security assessment firm that charged $15,000 for a report that was copied word for word from a free government website. This wasn't just about Larry's flag anymore. This was organized corruption, hidden behind clipboard-carrying busybodies who thought homeowners were too tired or too scared to fight back. But they picked the wrong veteran. The countersuit hit like a tomahawk missile. Larry didn't just sue to keep his flag, he sued for harassment and civil rights violations. As the Patriot Revolt went viral, the neighborhood woke up. Neighbors who had been silent for years started coming forward. Margaret Chen, a retired schoolteacher, revealed she'd paid $4,000 in legal fees because her bird feeder was deemed architecturally inconsistent. Tom Daniels, a widower and Korean War vet, admitted he'd removed his own flag years earlier just to avoid the hassle. But when they saw Larry stand his ground, something changed. One by one, American flags started appearing in flower pots all down Maple Street, then Oak Avenue, then the entire development. It wasn't just about Larry anymore. It was about taking back their homes from people who'd forgotten they were supposed to serve the community, not rule it. In a historic emergency meeting, the residents of Sweetwater did what the board feared most. They used a proxy vote, remember that term, to strip the entire board of their power in a single night. 243 homeowners showed up. Some brought lawn chairs, some brought their grandchildren. They voted unanimously to remove every single board member and launch a full financial audit. The board president, forced to sell her own home to cover the legal fees of the embezzlement probe. The flag? It didn't just stay in the pot. Larry's neighbors all lined their streets with flags in solidarity. The local news called it the Sweetwater Uprising. One reporter counted over 300 American flags displayed in a community that, just months before, had banned them. Larry Murphree didn't just win his case, he sparked a movement. Larry's case reached the state capitol, helping pass the Homeowners' Bill of Rights in 2025. It proved that in America, your home is your castle, and no board of directors is bigger than the Constitution. Today, Larry still lives in Sweetwater. He still flies that same 17-inch flag. And every morning, when he salutes it with his coffee in hand, he knows he didn't just fight for himself, he fought for every homeowner who ever felt powerless against a system designed to intimidate them into silence. His story reminds us that standing up for what's right isn't easy, but it's always worth it. That the values we fought for overseas still matter here at home. And that sometimes one person with courage can change everything. But Larry's story is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a much darker case involving a reverse mortgage scam that cost a 90-year-old widow her estate, and how her grandson got the ultimate revenge. In that case, a supposedly trusted bank representative convinced an elderly woman to sign away her home, the same home she'd lived in for 54 years. The same home where she raised 4 children and buried her husband. What her grandson discovered in those documents will shock you, and the legal strategy he used could protect your family too. I'll show you exactly how that unfolded in the next video. Click here to see the inheritance heist that changed the law forever. Because if it happened to her, it could happen to someone you love. Don't let your story end like hers almost did.